Welcome to PodIcast_official.
And welcome to the deep dive.
We're so glad you're with us today for, well, what's going to be a pretty transformative series.
It really is.
This is part one of our deep dive into one of the most, I think, mysterious and powerful human traits, charisma.
Absolutely.
And before we get completely lost in all the incredible material we've got here, just take a second right now, if you would, and hit that subscribe or follow button. It's the best way to make sure you come along for the whole journey with us.
Please do, because what we're about to get into really just dismantles this whole popular idea of charisma.
The idea that you're just born with it.
Exactly. That it's some kind of, magical innate talent. The sources we're digging into today, from behavioral science to neuroscience, they make it so clear.
That it's what?
Charisma is a skill. It's a set of very specific, very learnable behaviors, and it's built on a framework that, honestly, anyone can master.
I love that framing. A skill, not a gift. It makes it accessible.
It does.
And to really hammer home just how controllable this skill is, we have to start with, I think, the most incredible story from the sources.
Oh, the Marilyn Monroe anecdote.
So the one that just proves charisma is, at its core, a decision.
It perfectly sets the stage for everything we're going to talk about. I mean, Marilyn Monroe was obviously beautiful. Nobody disputes that.
Right.
But she knew that her fame, that magnetic pull she had, it came from something deeper, an inner force.
A persona she could control.
Exactly. And she decided to prove it back in 1955, right on the streets of New York City.
So set the scene for us. What was this experiment?
So she's with an editor and a photographer, and first, they all go down into the Grand Central subway station.
Okay, peak chaos.
Total chaos. Busy workday, people rushing everywhere. But in that moment, she's not Marilyn Monroe. She's just Norma Jean Baker.
The person behind the legend.
Right. And she sits in the corner of a subway car, very reserved, kind of a closed-off posture. And the photographer is snapping pictures, but nobody
notices her.
Not a single person, one of the most famous women in the world, and she just blended right into the crowd. She made herself invisible.
That in itself is amazing, the ability to just turn it off.
That's the baseline, right? She proved she could be completely unnoticed, but then comes the critical part.
Okay.
They go back up to the street, sidewalks are packed with people, and she turns to the photographer and she just says, "Do you want to see her?"
Meaning Marilyn.
Meaning Marilyn Monroe.
But what did she do? A big costume change?
Nothing like that. The sources say it was almost invisible, just a conscious decision, a switch in her mental state.
And that translated physically?
To these tiny non-verbal adjustments, a little toss of her hair, maybe her shoulders broadened a bit, a more open pose. The way she held her gaze changed. She just decided to become the movie star.
And the result?
Instantaneous. And profound. It was like this magical aura just appeared around her, a palpable energy.
Wow.
People on the street who had literally just walked right past Norma Jean, they stopped dead in their tracks.
Time just stopped.
Yeah. It's like time stopped. They didn't just see a pretty woman, they saw the star. And then, the frenzy started, people running up, asking for autographs. It was all because of that one conscious choice she made.
That is just incredible. That's not magic, it's total control.
And that's the absolute core lesson for this whole deep dive. Charisma isn't inherited. It's a state you can access, you can control, and you can deploy just by mastering these behaviors.
Okay, so let's unpack all of this. Our mission for part one today is pretty clear. We're going to define charisma, we're going to understand its incredible tangible impact, and then we're going to dissect the three essential components: presence, power, and warmth.
Let's do it.
Let's start with what the sources call the charisma reward system, because this skill, it really pays off, doesn't it?
Oh, it pays off in huge ways. I mean, imagine walking into a room, any room, and people are they're drawn to you.
They want to hear what you have to say.
They listen intently, yeah. And they actively seek your approval.
And the most interesting part to me was that they feel this weird compulsion to help you.
Exactly. It's a psychological trigger. And for people who have this skill, it translates into really tangible, life-changing benefits.
Like what, specifically?
Well, more money over their career, statistically, more romantic options, less stress because people just naturally trust and cooperate with them.
It sounds like a life hack, almost.
Yeah.
An unfair advantage. But there's data to back this up, right?
Absolutely. This isn't just, a nice idea. In terms of career, studies show a direct link between charisma and success. Charismatic people are just seen as more efficient.
They're seen more.
I like that.
They are. By their bosses, by their teams. They just cut through the noise of the modern office.
And for leadership. Well, Professor Robert Jordan at Wharton, his studies showed that followers of charismatic leaders are incredibly committed.
They go above and beyond.
Way beyond. They make personal sacrifices, they perform beyond the call of duty, and it's not out of fear, it's out of genuine inspiration. That kind of leadership creates deep loyalty.
And you can measure this in a field like sales, I imagine.
You really can. The data there is stark. In some sectors, a charismatic salesperson can be up to 5 times more effective than their peers.
5 times.
Yeah. I mean, you see it all the time. The entrepreneur who gets the funding versus the one with an equally good idea who can't even get a loan. The difference is that ability to instantly generate trust and belief.
But it's really important to stress this isn't just for CEOs and salespeople.
No, absolutely not. The sources make a strong case that this is a universal life skill.
How so?
It makes mothers more effective in communicating with their kids. It makes teachers more engaging in the classroom so students learn more. In communities, these are the people who naturally become leaders and organizers.
The example from healthcare was one of the most compelling for me.
It's so telling, isn't it? Patients of a charismatic doctor actually follow the advice more closely. They take their medicine, they make the lifestyle changes.
But the kicker is, what happens when things go wrong?
Right. Even when a charismatic doctor makes a documented mistake, their patients complain significantly less often than the patients of a less charismatic doctor.
That's incredible. It's like charisma builds up this reservoir of trust that can even buffer against human error.
It does. It's a powerful emotional connection.
Okay, so let's tackle the biggest myth head on. The idea that you're just born with it. We saw Marilyn turn it off. What else did the sources say to debunk this?
Well, it's simple logic, really. If charisma was just in your genes, you'd be on all the time. You'd always be captivating.
You couldn't be Norma Jean in the subway.
Exactly. The fact that she could be ignored 1 minute and cause a riot the next just by changing her behavior completely destroys the genetic argument. It's fluid, it's behavioral.
So if it's not magic, what is it, scientifically?
The consensus from decades of research is that charisma is the direct result of specific, controllable, nonverbal behaviors. It's a communication system.
A system that broadcasts confidence and good intentions.
That's a perfect way to put it. And the journey of Steve Jobs is a fantastic modern example of this skill being learned over time.
Yeah, we forget he wasn't always this master of the stage.
Not at all. If you watch his early appearances for the Apple I or the first Mac, he's shy, he's anxious, he rocks back and forth, clasps his hands.
He's the brilliant tech guy, but not the performer.
Right. But over the decades, you can literally watch his charisma level increase.
By the time he's revealing the iPhone.
He's mesmerizing. He's mastered the intentional pause, that famous silent beat that builds suspense. His posture is expansive but controlled. His voice is lower. It's a total transformation that proves this is a practiced skill.
Which should be a huge relief for anyone who considers themselves an introvert. Does charisma mean you have to be an extrovert?
No, absolutely not. And this is a really critical point, especially in Western cultures that tend to reward, being loud and outgoing.
Yeah.
The sources are clear. You do not need to be an extrovert. A charismatic introvert can be incredibly effective, often using intense listening and a focused kind of warmth that extroverts can sometimes miss.
You don't have to be classically beautiful either.
Another huge myth. I mean, think of someone like Winston Churchill. Incredibly charismatic, a world-changing leader, but he was not a conventionally handsome man.
Right.
And the research even shows that when people adopt charismatic body language in experiments, observers rate them as being more attractive.
So the charisma itself makes you seem more appealing.
Exactly. It acts like a filter. It makes you seem more competent, more attractive, more everything.
Okay, so the foundation is set. Charisma is a learnable skill. It's for everyone. And it's rooted in nonverbal communication.
Precisely. And now we can get into the architecture of those behaviors, the 3 core components.
So when we first meet someone, our brain isn't doing some kind of deep psychological analysis. It's running a very old, very fast survival check.
Right. It's a deep-seated evolutionary thing, and it happens in milliseconds. Your brain is asking 2 fundamental questions.
Okay, what's the first one?
The first is, friend or foe? It's assessing their intention toward you. And that, in our framework, is warmth.
And the second question?
Do they have the juice to act on that intention? Can they affect my world? That's their capability, which we call power.
So our subconscious is basically asking, does this person wish me well, and are they capable of helping me?
That's the perfect summary. And the charisma equation is just the combination of those 2 things, high warmth plus high power. And when you have both, what the other person experiences is presence.
Okay, let's break down those two inputs, starting with power. What does power look like, non-verbally?
Power is basically the recognized ability to influence the world. And it's not just about money or a fancy title.
It's about perceived capability.
Yes. And non-verbally, it's communicated through control and through space.
What do you mean by space?
Powerful people take up space, they have expansive posture, they're not hunched over, they sit upright, they might lean back, spread their things out a little. They're not fidgety.
Fidgeting signals a lack of control.
A lack of control or anxiety. The movements of a powerful person are deliberate. They're slower, more purposeful.
And vocally, how do you project power?
The voice is huge. A powerful voice is typically lower in pitch and a bit slower, more resonant. And crucially, they are comfortable with silence.
The intentional pause again.
The intentional pause. They don't feel the need to rush and fill every second with noise because they know when they pause, people will wait. They also maintain very direct, steady eye contact.
That's a great breakdown. Now, what about the other side of the coin, the balancing element of warmth?
Warmth is the signal of good intentions. It answers the question, is this powerful person going to use their influence for me or against me?
And the nonverbals for that are what?
Primarily approachability and attunement.
Okay, what are the physical cues for being approachable?
It starts with open body language. Arms aren't crossed. Palms might be visible. A slight head tilt when you're listening, which is a sign of engagement.
And the smile.
And the smile. But it has to be a genuine one, what scientists call a Duchenne smile.
Which means it reaches the eyes.
It involves the muscles around the eyes, creating those little crinkles. That's how our brain knows it's a real heartfelt emotion, not just a polite social mask.
And attunement. That sounds like being on the same wavelength.
It is. A warm, charismatic person will subtly mirror the posture of the person they're talking to. It builds this unconscious rapport.
You don't even realize it's happening.
Right. They'll also nod appropriately to show they're listening, and their eye contact feels interested and welcoming, not dominant or challenging.
And it's the fact that this combination is so rare, a powerful person who's also genuinely kind, that makes it so magnetic.
That's why it taps into our deepest survival instincts. I mean, historically, in a crisis, finding a leader who was both competent, that's power, and compassionate, that's warmth, could literally mean the difference between life and death for your tribe.
So our brains are hardwired to look for this blend.
They are. Neurological studies show that warmth and power are the two main axes we use to judge everyone we meet all the time.
But if you're missing one of them, the whole thing falls apart.
Completely. A powerful person who's cold is just seen as arrogant, a potential threat. They might get respect, but they'll never get loyalty.
And the other way around. Someone who's all warmth, but no power.
They're seen as sweet, lovable maybe, but ultimately ineffective. They can't make things happen, so they aren't charismatic in that leadership sense.
I have to push back a little here, because we see figures in the world, say someone like an Elon Musk, who project immense power, but are often criticized for not having that personal warmth.
That's a fantastic question.
Yet their followers are incredibly devoted. So how does that fit the equation?
The sources make a really smart distinction here between what they call visionary charisma and relational charisma.
Okay.
Visionary charisma, which is what you're describing, leans very heavily on power, on expertise, on a grand vision for the future. The warmth component changes. It's not personal warmth to you, it's the perceived benevolent intent of the mission.
So the followers believe his power is being used for a goal they share.
Exactly. But relational charisma, the kind you need in sales or teaching or leading a small team, that absolutely requires that direct personal warmth. You can inspire millions with power, but you only build loyalty one-on-one with warmth.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And this brings us to that great historical anecdote that illustrates this perfectly. Disraeli versus Gladstone.
Yes. The 1886 election for British Prime Minister, you have these two giants, both incredibly powerful, both brilliant.
And a young reporter gets to have dinner with both of them.
Right. A once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. First, she dines with Gladstone.
And how did that go?
Gladstone was known for his razor-sharp intellect, his deep knowledge, and he put it all on display. She left that dinner feeling that she had just spent an evening with the smartest man in England.
So he made her feel very aware of his own greatness.
He put the spotlight squarely on himself. But then she dines with his rival, Disraeli.
And the experience was different.
Profoundly different. Disraeli was just as smart, just as powerful, but he used his intelligence to lift her up. She left that dinner feeling that she was the smartest, most impressive person in England.
Wow. That's the whole ballgame right there.
Isn't it? Gladstone made her feel small in his shadow. Disraeli made her feel brilliant in his light.
And Disraeli won the election.
He did, because true charismatic leadership isn't about showing how great you are. It's about using your power to make other people feel great.
And when you get that perfect blend of power and warmth, the experience for the other person is what people always come back to when they describe figures like the Dalai Lama or Kofi Annan.
Yes, they all use the same word.
Present.
Presence. It's that feeling, that overwhelming sense that this person is 100% with you in this moment.
They aren't distracted. They aren't thinking about their next meeting.
No. People who met Bill Clinton, for instance, they say they can't remember what they talked about, but they'll never forget the feeling. The feeling that for those few minutes, they were the most important person in the world.
So let's get into the mechanics of presence. Because it sounds easy, just pay attention, but it's obviously not. Why is a lack of presence so destructive?
It comes down to the physiology of it. If your mind is split, half on the conversation and half on, say, an email you need to write, your brain is fragmented.
And your reactions are delayed.
Even by a tiny fraction of a second, a few hundred milliseconds.
And that's noticeable.
It's massively noticeable to our unconscious mind. The human brain can detect shifts in facial expression in under 27 milliseconds. It's an ancient survival skill. So even a tiny delay, a flicker of the eyes while you process an internal thought.
The other person's subconscious picks it up.
Instantly. And the feeling it creates is that they're being devalued, dismissed. It signals a lack of respect, and it just obliterates any chance of building trust or warmth.
So we have to train what the sources call the wandering mind. How do we do that?
There's a core exercise for this. A foundational mental workout called the minute-long focus drill.
A minute a day.
That's all it takes to start building that presence muscle.
So you find a quiet place. What are the steps? The 3 anchors.
The first anchor is sounds. You close your eyes and you just listen. Purposefully. Imagine your ears are like satellite dishes, scanning for everything. The hum of a computer, a car outside, your own breath.
So you're actively engaging your hearing.
Exactly. Then the second anchor is your breath. You shift your focus entirely to the physical sensation of breathing, the cool air in your nose, your stomach rising and falling.
Treating the breath like a friend, as the source says.
Right, giving it your full, undivided attention. And then the third anchor, which sounds a little strange, is your toes.
Why the toes?
It's very specific. You focus on the sensation in your toes. Are they warm, cold, touching? The point is to pull your racing mind all the way down into the furthest point of your physical body. It grounds you. It interrupts those anxious thought loops.
I'm sure anyone trying this for the first time is finding it really hard.
It is incredibly hard. And it's important to know that's normal. Research from Harvard shows that about half of us spend our waking hours with a wandering mind.
Our modern world trains us for distraction.
It does. So if you try this and your mind wanders off to your grocery list, that's not a failure. That's just the untrained mind doing its thing.
So what's the fix? When you notice your mind has wandered, what do?
You just gently guide it back. No judgment, no frustration. The moment you realize you're thinking about dinner instead of your breath, that realization is actually a little victory. You just gently return your focus. That act of redirecting is the exercise.
And this skill can be applied in real time, in just a second.
That's the amazing part. This is what we can call the 1-second fix.
Okay, give us the scenario. You're stressed, about to go into a big meeting, and a colleague runs up with a problem.
Right. Your natural state is anxiety. I don't have time for this. And if you respond from that place, your lack of presence is written all over your face and body language.
The colleague feels like a burden. The relationship is damaged.
Exactly. So the fix is, before you say a word, you take one single internal unnoticeable second.
To do what?
To focus on your breath, or to feel the sensation in your toes. It instantly yanks you out of your anxious inner story and into the present moment.
What does the colleague see?
They see you become fully present. Your eyes focus. Your body settles. You give them that 1 second of genuine, undivided attention. And they feel heard. They feel respected. Even if your answer is, "I'm sorry, can we talk in 5 minutes?" You've made a powerful emotional connection.
That is such a powerful practical tool. Now, let's connect this internal state of presence to our external body language. Just how important are the nonverbals?
They're almost everything.
Yeah.
There's a famous study from the MIT Media Lab that's just mind-blowing.
Okay.
They analyzed recordings of business negotiations, and they found they could predict the outcome, who won, who got the deal, with 87% accuracy.
Just from body language.
Just from body language,
Yeah.
without hearing a single word of the conversation.
87%. That's staggering. It just proves the body is shouting while the mouth is talking.
Because it's our primary language. Evolutionarily, language is new. Reading body language, a threat, an invitation, that's wired deep into our survival instincts.
Which is why just faking charisma, trying to force a smile or stand up straight, it just doesn't work.
It's doomed to fail because your body is sending out thousands of signals a minute that you can't consciously control. Your heart rate, tiny changes in your voice, micro expressions.
And if your internal state, your anxiety, contradicts your external performance.
People feel it. They sense the disconnect. It's like that fake smile, right? You move your mouth muscles, but you can't fake the eye muscles of the Duchenne smile. And the subconscious brain of the other person goes, wait a minute, something's not right here. I don't fully trust this.
These are the micro expressions you mentioned, the little leaks of truth.
Exactly. They last for less than a quarter of a second. They're your body's honest, involuntary reaction before your conscious mind can censor it. And while people don't consciously see them, their limbic system registers it as a reason for mistrust.
So the only conclusion is that charisma has to start from the inside out.
That is the critical insight of this entire deep dive. You have to get the internal state right first. If you feel confident, if you feel warm, then the right body language just it flows naturally.
Which brings us to this idea of practical magic, using the mind to control the body, using the placebo effect.
This is where it gets really powerful. The core concept is that our minds can't really tell the difference between a vividly imagined scenario and reality.
Right, like imagining biting a lemon.
Exactly. You imagine it, and your mouth actually produces saliva. You watch a scary movie, you know it's fake, but your heart still pounds. The imagined reality creates a real physical reaction.
And in medicine, this is the placebo effect.
Yeah. Which was really documented in World War I. Doctors ran out of morphine and found they could reduce a soldier's pain just by telling them an injection of salt water was a painkiller.
The expectation of relief created the reality of relief.
Yes, and modern research, like Ellen Langer's study at Harvard, is even more stunning.
This is the one where they put elderly people in a 1950s environment.
Meticulously recreated, the music, the TV, the furniture, and they were just told to act as if they were 20 years younger.
And the physical results were
Measurable clinical improvements in their vision, their muscle strength, even their bone density. Their mind's belief about their age literally started to reverse the physical signs of aging.
But this power has a dark side too, the nocebo effect.
The dark mirror, yes. It shows that a negative expectation can create a toxic physical result.
The allergy study.
Classic example. People with a severe allergy are blindfolded. They're touched with a completely harmless leaf, but told it's their allergen. And what happens?
They break out in hives.
Wherever they believed they were touched. Their expectation of harm created the physical reality of harm.
So if the mind can create health and sickness based on belief, how do we apply this directly to generating charisma?
This is the final link. You use intentional visualization to create the internal state of charisma before you ever walk into the room.
You trip your own body.
You give your body its instructions. By vividly imagining and feeling the state of powerful confidence, your mind tells your body what to do. Lower your vocal tone, broaden your posture, slow your movements.
And the same for warmth.
You visualize a feeling of genuine warmth and empathy for the person you're about to meet, and your mind instructs your face to produce a real Duchenne smile, to soften your gaze.
Yeah.
You're not faking the body language, you're generating it from an authentic internal state that you created on purpose.
That is the absolute key. The mind is the source code for the body's charismatic display.
Let's just quickly recap the foundation we built here in part 1. We've learned that charisma is a decision. It's a practice skill made up of nonverbal behaviors.
And that skill is built on 3 pillars. Presence, being in the moment. Power, your ability to influence things. And warmth, your good intention. We also have our first tool, the minute-long focus drill.
And crucially, we've learned that all of this has to start inside your mind. You have to harness that placebo effect, creating the right internal state so that your body naturally and automatically broadcasts authentic charisma.
This is all about getting your internal operating system right before you do anything else. Now, if this has been useful for you, and we really hope it has, please just take a moment to subscribe or follow the channel. We are just getting started.
We really are, because having these tools is the first step. But you need a strong foundation. There are powerful internal enemies that can sabotage all this work.
And that's exactly where we're headed in part 2. We are going to dive deep into the barriers that destroy charisma from the inside out. Things like physical discomfort, anxiety, self-criticism, and that big one, imposter syndrome.
And we're going to introduce a very powerful three-step process to neutralize those negative thoughts and get control of that inner chaos.
That was the end of this part professionally. See you in the next episode. Thanks so much for joining us for this deep dive. We'll see you next time.